explain the way they should work, and why they don't sometimes. And now here's your host, John C. Morley. Marcus here. We got a great show here tonight. Have you been hearing what's going on with the schools, Marcus, what they're doing?
I heard briefly about it. I know that they are definitely, going in for round two of what they, thought might be was going to be an easy task the first go around of, utilizing technology. But won't you expound for us, John?
Well, basically, schools they're turning to surveillance tech to prevent COVID-19 spreading. So I know that's like a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah. It is.
So what does that mean, English? Well, the first thing is we talked about in the last show how some people are actually going to go back to school. They're going to have 2 days in school and then 2 days off or something like that. That's what they're basically going to do, and they're going to give each student a bracelet to wear. Now it's not for fashion. The bracelet in some places is actually going to keep their temperature monitored and report back to a central system. And some places are even going further and are actually monitoring how close people are.
That's interesting.
So my feeling is, though, yes, they got this technology, but you and I both know you can have the greatest, most expensive technology in the world, but if you don't have the proper infrastructure to run it or have the people to maintain it, it's garbage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is costing our taxpayers a lot of money. Parents are like flip-flop on the fence. Some people want to do it, and some people don't, but they don't really have a choice. Otherwise, they're going to have to do homeschooling, and they're claiming that this is going to prevent COVID-19 spreading around. They said that basically, it's hard to monitor them. And, when schools have these large amounts of students, we're talking somewhere around, 3,000, 5,000, they're actually planning a test, several schools. They call it what the students are going to wear, they call it an electronic beacon. And it tracks their location to within, get this, Marcus, within a few feet. And some of the more expensive ones can actually keep monitoring their actual body temperature.
This kind of sounds like what the NBA's using in the bubble, inside of the bubble. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes, I did. Yes, it seems very similar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's going to log the students and the teachers that are in the classroom throughout the day, and they're hoping that it's going to prevent or minimize an outbreak of COVID-19. So my only question, Marcus, is, okay, great. Now you got all this technology. Suppose somebody gets COVID-19. What do? Alarm goes off? What happens? We got to close the schools down or something, right? Or at least that classroom. I mean, I don't know if they're prepared, because if they find COVID, let's just say in one classroom, now they have an ability to do contract tracing and see how close that person was to so many people, and then say, well, all those people are now banned or whatever. I mean, that's what they could do. I mean, this whole thing's just getting way out of hand. I mean, I know it's for our health and everything, but I just think this pandemic is just, it's crazy. From some of the glitchy Zoom calls to people spending money to try to prevent corona, to these people I'm watching here in the right crowds where at the schools and places, they're dressed in these uniforms where people usually come out, they charge, not them, but the companies charge like $1,000 or $2,000 an hour because they're working with hazmat stuff. And they have these suits and they're spraying down like the turnstiles, the railings. And they're doing this actually a lot in colleges now. This is where they're doing it. Because the colleges, they're getting ready to open. University of Arizona has begun developing a contact tracing app for students. And it's going to be interesting because, offering this by the state public health departments, they're going to use Bluetooth signals exchanged between smartphones so they could potentially notify infected students and alert them to quarantine. Now, are the students really going to pay attention to this? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's really hard to get, yet alone, we're talking about, elementary kids, and then you add in the mixed college students who, are avid for being rebellious individuals.
Exactly, and I
I
think
don't
that
think people are gonna
I
go
don't
for
think
this.
it's gonna gel. I mean, I get some of the students that are annoying, rebellious, are being cooperative. I have to give them that. All right,
Yes.
but let's just face it, kids are kids, and they're not going to take responsibility. This is way too much responsibility to put on a student. However, and I quote Beats, Brian Beats, who's the superintendent of schools in Robbinsville, New Jersey.
Yes.
He says, and I quote, um, basically that he would be open to using the Volin system, which he used at his previous school. We're always trying to make schools safer for kids, and I believe technology is the best way to do that. However, Beats, and I quote, says the decision about whether to reopen schools in New Jersey will ultimately be made by, guess who? The governor.
Oh yeah.
Seems unsure whether the Volin system or anything else for that matter is really going to keep kids safe. High schools, colleges, until till a real vaccine actually comes on the market, Marcus. I think that's really, and the way the Volin technology works is it's an AI system.
Okay.
So AI is pretty good. It's an AI-based location tracking system, and schools around the country are planning to use it, and it offers the only private location tracking and geofencing option around. This is what they claim. Okay, it uses artificial intelligence, so that means it's basically learning as it goes along. It could be used in workplaces, things like that. They use a neural mesh network, so that just means that they're able to pinpoint to a real exact, precise location and do micro geofencing to automate private contact tracing without exposing people's contact information.
Wow.
So in Hoboken, New Jersey, just in June, they were written up in Globe Newswire, which is a pretty big source on this, that they're the provider of the only AI-based location position system that can dramatically improve workplace safety, announced that it has officially launched its Volin positioning system. So schools, other large facilities where people work, and Volin's patented technology, it's wireless, so it can be implemented fairly easily. It's not an inexpensive system, unfortunately, but our taxpayer dollars are going to be attributing to this. Volin had several pilot sites underway at school districts in New Jersey and Ohio, and they actually launched their pilot in June. So this is actually not new, but we're just starting to hear about it now because it's becoming part of people's lives. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out here, Marcus, that we don't always know about unless we directly know somebody, or maybe we're actually involved with the process. So I think that's something what they're doing with the schools. I mean, I think it's a good idea, but I don't know. I just feel that it's not going to do everything they say it's going to do. What do you feel?
Yeah, I think it. The last mention. Here. Where this. Where this New Jersey option here with the Volin system. It seems like that would be the best way to go here. But as you mentioned here, we're talking about taxpayer money, talking about kids, maybe possibly destroying this stuff, or maybe not even fully cooperating. There's too many different variables to measure here, and it could work, with proper. If you install it properly and you put a system behind it, but if you just want to just put this great technology out here and then you don't have a system, and then properly educate people with it within the system, it ultimately is going to break down like anything else.
Yeah, I feel that they're on the right track, but I just feel that this isn't the solution. This is not the solution. And speaking about opening, I have another thing that literally just came off my radar screen here. Is you hear they're going to be opening gyms again? So they said they were in a holding pattern, but now opening gyms in New Jersey, at least now in August, they're saying that this is going to happen. But I don't know. I mean, this happened basically around August 5th. This is when they started this.
Hmm.
New Jersey, by the way, is one of the 7 states where health clubs have been barred from reopening. Did you know that? We're one of 7 states only. I thought everybody should be banned.
Yeah, everybody should have been banned. But I know we were they were allowing some operation of gyms here in my home state here. So I know New Jersey definitely they were keeping people from going to gyms.
Exactly. And the governor had said it's too soon. I mean, I do agree with him. But a lot of these gym owners, I mean, they have bricks for brains. And I'm not going to cite the person out specifically, but there was one particular gym in New Jersey, in his defiance, was a retired Marine. So there's where the chutzpah is coming from.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and he affixed a military gas mask and headphones before beginning his chest and arm workout at a New Jersey gym that had gone rogue.
Wow.
It's illegal for health clubs to be open for anything other than private training in New Jersey. Most people don't know that.
Hmm.
But again, I'm not going to cite the owner here. He's probably gotten enough press. That about 10 miles southeast of Philadelphia, they had a repeated flout from a governor with the executive order who filed a lawsuit to sought to overturn the shutdown while staging numerous reopening events that are equal parts of civil disobedience.
We're going to see
So
more and more in this, John.
I,
People.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
it's just going to become a pushable. We got to have something. But you know what? It's kind of like, when you're younger and people do things and, they always want to try to get away with something to see if the teacher's going to do something.
Hmm.
Are they really going to get in trouble? I'm not going to get in trouble. Let me test her. How far can I go? How far can I test her? And you had those teachers like, don't test me. But then they really didn't do anything. And then you had the other ones, they said, don't test me. And then the next time it was like, bam. So I don't know. It just has me wonder. But, speaking about, liberties and permissions and things like that, and warnings for that matter, there's another interesting thing that's happening. Our good friends, I should say friends, I say that kind of funny. Our good friend who owns Facebook,
Yes.
he's now decided that he's going to show a warning before sharing articles about COVID-19.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's a little bit late behind with that. Yeah, so that's a message that should came up like right in the beginning here.
Yeah, I know, because, Instagram actually started doing this right away in the very beginning.
Yeah, and that's
If
kind
you
of
had
funny because it's the same. It's owned by the same people.
Yeah, it just seems to point to the fact that the left team doesn't know what the right is doing, or the body doesn't know that has a foot or a head attached to it, or the head's on the same body. So as part of this new notification system per Facebook, they say it's going to help prevent the spread of old and out-of-date information that's false. Now, we all know how well the information on Facebook is always true, right? We can all agree with that.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Facebook says, and I quote, they'll be exempting. They always have these clauses. I don't know how they get around this cockamamie nonsense. Exempting certain information sources to ensure trusted and helpful links don't get caught in the screen. So how the heck do you do that? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
come on. You just told me you're going to do something, and now you're saying it doesn't apply to these kids? I'm in the block? That's not right.
Right.
I don't know. So one of the organizations that they're going to not censor is the World Health Organization. But who says that they're publishing valid information?
Yeah,
Right?
we seen how well that went early on. There was some conflicting information coming out from them. Even.
Uh, it's amazing. And as we're talking, more about these things in the COVID time and our world, as we and I have talked before, Marcus, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be different. The new norm, as we call it. Another player or two has jumped on the bandwagon. Ahead of the RNC and the DNC. We usually don't get political on here. The Republican National Committee and the Democrat National Committee. Facebook, Google, and Twitter team up on election security, again, ahead of the RNC and the DNC. Now, they should be doing this. But
Yeah.
can you believe Facebook, Google, and Twitter are actually working together and they're ahead of the RNC and DNC. I don't get that. The election should be ahead of this. So they're hoping to make this new thing a lot more secure. They're trying to do online voting, which I think might be a mistake.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster right there. And the fact that you got these three companies, putting their heads together on this, to me that's a little bit scary because you think in terms of like three super giant social media platforms, who have demonstrated some really sketchy leanings.
Exactly. And how many people have you known? I'm sure you've known at least one or two. They're not bad people, but they've gotten banned from Google, from Facebook, from Yahoo, right? And they didn't do anything criminal. They didn't really say anything bad. Like they didn't threaten anybody's life. They stated an opinion. Yeah. And some of them give them a warning, and other times they post another message. And because the message was right after the first message, there was no time for the warning. A second one, they posted a third one. So the warning was like BS because they gave them a warning, but then they didn't check their email. And suddenly, now their account's shut down. And now they're in Facebook jail or Yahoo jail or Google jail. And then they give you this notice that, sorry, we can't help you, and you're banned for life. The one that's even worse than those people I found out is Fiverr.
Yeah.
They're brutal over there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have no support for squat, okay? And, by the way, we don't use any of their services to produce this video. It's like, I can't get over how they do these things. They don't really care what they do for the American people. And you can't even talk to them. You have to go through a thing, and you just breathe the wrong way, or you look at somebody the wrong way, and your account's banned. And there's so many people that get around their security, but they call it I think they call it their trust team or some nonsense. Yeah. And their decision is final.
Yeah, it's
and
quote unquote community trust team.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
But just to interrupt you real quick, we want to acknowledge our Twitch guy out there, Crazy Fist 89. He said it's big cooperative business, or corporate business, I think he meant to say.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So what do we do about this? I mean, what's the way? If there's an advertiser spending a lot of money, it's a miracle how they're just going to look the other way. But Fiverr is one of those companies where they just decide that they're going to set the rules. And a lot of these social media companies, they set the rules. I mean, I know just the other day we were applying for a Facebook app, and I thought I had to give blood like 3 times because they didn't make it easy. They made it hard. Why did they do this? Did they want people to get more involved? Why did they become a dictatorship? Why isn't it really a community? It's not a community. It's a dictatorship, and we have to, beg.
Yeah.
And no amount of money can usually solve it. There's one person, and they make a decision, and you never can talk to them. The only way you can really resolve this, and I'm sure the person who tweeted would agree to this or message us in, is that you got to hire somebody or you got to expose them online. And you have to do it in a way that's not going to shut you down. So if you have a problem with, let's say, Facebook, you don't put it on Facebook. You put it on another platform. And then you get it shared through Facebook through another means because they don't want to block their advertisers because that would cause them a problem.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. It's something. But thank you for that comment coming in because I think a lot of people feel that they don't have control. I know several years ago, a gentleman from town in Franklin Lakes, very nice gentleman, respectable gentleman. He not going to give his name, of course, for confidentiality reasons and personality, is that he had a problem with one of the sites, Tumblr. He did nothing wrong, okay? And he was in his job, and, he came, he said, John, we have to get this off. And I said, well, getting things off is not very easy, as you and I, we've talked about this before. We've talked about this. And so I said, there's things we could do to try to get it to drop, but unless they've done something directly, okay, you can't really get that pulled down.
No.
You could try to make comments to them. You could send them letters. You can get the lawyers involved. But they really can't do anything. And they have the right to take it down. I have been lucky to have things taken down because they don't want their name trafficked all over other websites. They don't want that.
Exactly.
And long story short, he was going for another job. He didn't get the other job.
That's
because they
amazing.
saw a social profile. Isn't that wrong?
Yeah, that's
When
terrible.
somebody goes for a job, I mean, we've talked about things like, not discriminating against sexual orientation, against color, against race, against creed. Now we're discriminating against how and what social profile you have and how many people or what you say on social media.
Yeah, and it's the first thing they go to, when right after you walk out of the interview, or sometimes even before you come to the interview.
I just find that to be, here's my feeling on that. I do interviews all the time. If something comes to my light, okay, and I'm not looking for it, that's one thing, okay? But if I'm looking for something, that's a problem. I mean, if I turn on one of these social media channels and I see something about them, of course I'm going to ask, right? But I'm not going to directly go looking on their private pages.
Yeah, it's none of my business.
Right? I
So,
mean, if you see something in the newspaper that person's a felon or something, well, now maybe you got a problem, or they're a this, or they're a predator. Maybe you're going to do something, right? But you're not going to go looking for something, right?
right, exactly.
So I don't know. I think that's a little bit nuts. But who else has been getting thinking about nuts and press now? Was it Kamala Davy Harris? If I'm saying that right, she's
Yeah,
an American.
Kamala, Camilla, I mean, she has to come out and say what, how to pronounce her name. So
Am I saying her name right? Is it Kamala
I,
Davy Harris?
I can't even say her name right. So
Private times there went Kamala Davy Harris, Kamala Davy Harris, Kamala Davy Harris. Okay, that's probably what it is because I
yeah,
say it 3 times. That's the name. It's Kamala Davy Harris or just Kamala Harris. But she is an American politician, and if you didn't know it by now, she is actually a lawyer. If that's not a surprise.
yeah,
And
yeah. Most of them are used to be at some point.
she served as the junior United States Senator from California since 2017. And she is the presumptive Democratic voice presidential nominee in the 2020 election.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah, the story that came out earlier this week, and at first, we were hearing things about it being she, it was historical, but it's actually, turned out she's not the first. From what I'm hearing, there was someone before
she's
her.
she's not the first,
No,
really.
she's not the first.
Who's the first? Do we know who the first is?
Yes. Let me get it. Oh, here. Oh,
While you're contemplating that, one thing I want to let you know about her.
it was Charlotta Bass. Yeah, it was
Charlotta Bass.
Yeah, Charlotte
Okay.
Bass was the first one. Yeah, but you can go, continue on further.
What I was going to tell you about why you got that a lot quicker than I expected you to come up with that. The Kamala David Harris, in case you guys want to know, and those of you that are into your charts and stuff, she's a Libra. She is characterized for having a very analytical mind, social natured, and she has a commitment to loyalty and justice.
Yeah.
If that doesn't rain on her chart, I don't know what else does.
Yeah, her record says that.
So I am amazed. I mean, like I said, people say that your charts don't mean anything, but I got to tell you something. Not that this is a show about horoscopes or charts, but I got to believe, these charts, I had one done not so long ago, and they're so darn accurate. I mean, you could always alter things, but I mean, what I always believe is that if you do something and you follow your chart, it's going to happen. If you don't do it, it's still going to happen, but it's going to take a lot longer for it to happen. There's kind of like these synchronicities in the universe.
Yes.
And I know people say I'm smoking something, but I trust you I'm not. I had a glass of water before the show. But I think if we take note on these things, it's really, really important. So what do you think's going to happen with her? Do you think she's going to get in? What do you think's going to happen?
Well, I think with the way the climate of the politics been turning, I think it's heavily weighted that way. But we seen the popular vote not really influence electoral college before. So I think as they say, as always, we have to wait until November.
We have to wait. We have to wait till November, and now with the
Yeah.
election changing the way you vote, you can't vote. They want to do it online, and they want to do it only by mail, which is a whole other story for another day.
Yeah. So.
But I feel that you know, we could also have a write-in too. I mean, we could have an independent. We don't have an independent yet, do we?
The only independent that that was kind of buzzing in the news, but many people are not really taken very serious was Kanye West, and that's.
I thought that.
That was
I
very
thought that person.
interesting.
I thought she was. I thought that was an interesting person. I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't know that was. Yeah, she was really serious about it. I thought they were just playing around with that. But you're saying they were serious about her?
So Kanye West, the American rapper slash entrepreneur,
Yes.
he got accepted on
Yeah.
three different states. So he's on the ballot for 3 states, and he's currently contesting some other states.
But you know something, Marcus, about this. This is like that guy I call him. He's a very wealthy man, the potato man. I call him the potato
Yeah.
man, Idaho.
Uh-huh.
He had no interest in winning this election, and I promise you, folks, we're not a political show here. But this is really interesting news. But he had no interest in winning the election.
Right.
No interest at all. He just wanted to take the vote away from the other party. That's all he wanted to do. That's it. And he did it. He did that. But enough of our political horse riding here.
Yeah. Speaking of being guided and how we're going to be guided, Google Power Auto dedicated calendar app returns. Have you used that before in the past?
I have not used the app. I have in my car. I actually have my 4x4. I actually have the nav system that comes with the vehicle, and they're doing it. They're trying to compete. This Google system is trying to compete with the Android Auto. So you have like they have the what do they call it? Google the Play. You have like the CarPlay. So that's what they're really trying to compete against. Google is adding that feature because they want to become like CarPlay, and I guess they're going to have to make integration in the car because that was a big thing. I didn't like CarPlay. I disabled it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I was never really a fan of it either. And at one point, as it mentioned in the article, it was, this Google Map was integrated with the calendar app, and and it was a real cool feature because I've always been an Android guy, so
Okay.
and currently right now I have a Galaxy Note.
Okay.
And
So you're not going to like me. I'm an iPhone guy.
I used to have an iPhone and an Android.
You're really going to hate me. You know where you're really going to hate me, guys? Because I was a BlackBerry guy for many years.
I used to be one of those type of guys too.
I was a BlackBerry guy, and I was actually one of the founding fathers, and I say this truthfully, that actually helped to develop the Sidekick.
Wow.
Which was one of their beginning products. And those are the days when you're spending $500 a month for texting. I think people would have went out of their mind when I told them that I was paying $100 for like 10 blocks. Like, what's that? I said, it's a sentence. A sentence? $100? Yep. I'm like, yeah, my bill was like $500. That's why every letter or character was like so expensive. So when you got like a text in from your voicemail, the day when you get like a text from your voicemail box, it'd be like, oh, I hope you just send the 4 digits. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
And I never got why they did it. Now I know why they did it. It's like, they don't want to send the 10 digits or send these things because that would just take so long. But
exactly. No, it was really the money. It was really just saving the money.
And then I actually had the SkyTel. Do you remember SkyTel?
I remember the SkyTel. Yeah.
I could not believe. I mean, I gotta tell you, SkyTel was the only MCI company. I don't know if they make money or not because I'm not being a financial analyst on this show. But they were the only company that I understood that actually ever made money. I don't know that MCI's division ever made money, and I think they sold them.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, but the thing I was going to tell you is there's actually one company, I think it's Navis or something, and they make all the maps for all the cars. And it's a big racket how they do this. I mean, the disc costs something like, I don't know, it's between I remember the days when you had to buy all the discs. Now when you have the DVDs, you can just have one or a hard drive. Now they get you for $250. But if it's in your plan, they always want to try to sell it to you. The big thing I know Acura always likes to do is they want you to buy this. You get the free service with the car where you can get health information about the car, but you can't do anything. You can't unlock your car. You can't do squat. Then they got the next level up for like $200. And okay, you can now use your phone. And if you're like me and you love the nav, you can look up things, hit a button, and send it to your car before you even get to your car. That's cool. I find I spend so much time in the dashboard. You know, like I need to like operate my plane, and I have to do all these like checks and balances and put my navs in, and then I can get my car going. It's like part of this whole thing. But I don't think that app is going to, or I should say that program. I don't know. I'm not a big Android guy, but I don't know. I feel it's trying to compete with that CarPlay, which obviously it is from 2019. Now Google has its resources behind it, so everything Google does, obviously they're going to get a big play on. And just because of the numbers, they're going to get people because they're a traffic source. That's no secret. But Google previously had removed the calendar app from its last redesign in 2019. They replaced it with a button that simply read your appointments out loud using Google Assistant instead of showing you anything on the screen. And I think this becomes a problem because now I know what Acura did. And I think Apple is well with them, or it might be in combination. I think it was Acura that did alone. If you try to read your messages, even through the voice system, through like your steering wheel, you can hit a button. It says, "I'm sorry, you must first unlock your phone." Now, I don't know why they did that, because that seems like it's more of a problem. If I'm using voice commands, why would you read my freaking messages? It's hands-free. So that's like a dumb thing if I'm not even touching the phone. So then you're going to force people to pick up the phone and now have another problem? So I don't know. So they're claiming that by having this technology, they're going to be able to bring things to the car that the car doesn't already have, like nav and like other types of features that they want, other types of games and things like that. And it's definitely something that I think is going to be something that is going to attract some people, and other people aren't going to give a darn. CarPlay users can pull up directions and see appointments as part of iOS 13. So, right now.
Yep, we were losing you for a second, John.
Okay, Apple's latest iOS right now. I think there was just an update. I know just the other day, and Apple released their latest iOS. And, it seems like they've been having lots of bugs. Have you been noticing that?
Yeah, I've noticed that, yeah.
I think right now, if I check, because I literally and I never update when it first comes out. I never, ever, ever do that.
No, it's always best to wait for the second one.
I wait for a week, because then there's always a patch. You ever remember Microsoft joke that they come out on something on Tuesday, and then it's patched Thursday? Or it comes out on Thursday, it's patched Tuesday? So we're up to 13.6.1. And the version just before this, what they released, was now people wearing masks. It used to take such a long time to get over to the phones. You could put your code in. Now they made that a little quicker. If they don't recognize your face, they go right to a screen where you put your number in. So, I mean, everybody's trying to make, technology, I think, easier. But is this technology helping us, or is the technology, harming us? I think that's really the important thing. But, another thing that was happening, you have kids that play games, right?
Yeah,
we were talking about this last time.
And
last time we were talking, yeah, okay. And we talked about Roblox, how that was just, depleting that gentleman's wallet from his daughter, and I think it was England or somewhere. And she said, "Daddy, I'm just playing with Play Money." But now we got something even worse than that. What could be worse than stealing your money? How about a conglomerate like Apple telling you that you are not allowed to sell in their store? So we know who Fortnite is, and we know the game they have. Right. Well, Fortnite made this game, and they're making a lot of money. We know that Apple makes a lot of money on their store, right? We know that.
Right.
And they put you through a rigmarole to be able to put in it, so they try to maintain some quality on it. But did you know that Apple, listen to this, guys, takes 30% of the sales on the Apple Store?
Wow.
And it gets better. If you decide that you don't want to be dinged, is what I like to call it, or cha-ching for that 30%, well, maybe you can just write to take your additional sales or transactions outside the Apple Store? Well, you could do that. That's what one intelligent company, Fortnite, actually did, who makes some really cool games, which we can definitely agree. Well, guess what happened once they decided to take payments outside of the Apple Store once the app was purchased?
What happened, John?
Well, Fortnite, Apple actually removed them from the store immediately.
Oh, wow.
And you can imagine how this pissed off Fortnite.
Yeah, I bet they came back with their lawyers.
Yeah, the company filed a lawsuit, okay, against Apple's App Store, okay? Because, Apple has everything in divisions like most smart companies do, so you can only sue the App Store, not the whole Apple company, okay? It's like the
Right.
Apple Limited. So if you take Apple Store down, they probably could just open something else called the Apple Store, and in 24 hours, they'd be up in business again.
Exactly.
That's something how they have those loopholes. So they filed a lawsuit, Fortnite, maker of these epic games, against Apple. But guess who else they went after? Google, according to CNET.
Oh, rightfully so.
Apple and Google are doing the same BS.
Oh, man.
So Epic introduced their own direct payment system, and they thought they were being clever, which, again, fine. And effectively, they were shut out of the Apple and the Google, the App Store and the Google Play Store. So Epic alleges, and I quote, that Apple is engaging in anti-competitive behavior and a monopolistic practice through its App Store. Still quoting, which is a major distributor of games and apps for Apple devices. Still quoting. The game maker also took to social media to rally fans to its cause, tweeting that Epic defied the App Store monopoly. In retaliation, Apple is blocking Fortnite from 1 billion devices.
Wow.
That is just...
Oh, wow. That's a whole nother level here.
And in the lawsuit against Google, this Epic company claims that the company was abandoning its "Don't Be Evil" motto. So in 1998, again quoting from some CNET, was founded as an exciting young company with a unique model, "Don't Be Evil." So you see where that came from.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens, and of course here on the Tech Talk Show, we're going to follow it for you, because anything about technology, whether you need help with it or whether people getting sued about it, we're going to follow it.
Yeah.
And if politics uses technology, even though we're not a political channel, we're going to talk about it. And unfortunately, or fortunately for some, we're just going to tell you what we feel about it and maybe how some parties responded. But we're not going to get into things about an election unless it has to really do with technology. So Fortnite's going to be doing some interesting things. And I can't really wait to see what's going to happen. But you know something really clever? How many of you know Amazon? I'm sure you know Amazon, right?
Yeah. I utilize them, but sometimes I hate them. So.
I find we all utilize them, but I think the challenge is, I don't mind giving them money. The challenge is they make so many darn mistakes.
Yeah.
I had something delivered that was over $1,000 about 2 weeks ago, but I didn't get it. It was supposed to be delivered to my office.
Did it get lifted?
What's that?
Did it get lifted?
It never got delivered. They said it was signed for.
Oh.
Who? It was signed for by Susie. And I said, at that time, no, it's not Susie. Stephanie. I have a Susie. Stephanie. Stephanie signed for it. Stephanie who? Well, she signed for it. And I have a Stephanie that works for me. And I said, I didn't even see you on our cameras or anything. Well, you signed for it, that we can't help you. I had to make 5 more calls back to them. Okay, well, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry, they signed for it, there's nothing we can do about it. Okay, so you obviously don't value my business. Well, we value it, so we'll give you a $10 credit. Now, I don't want to be nasty or obscene here.
$1,000 valuable?
Yeah, I don't want to be nasty or obscene with any 4-letter words here, but I can tell you what to do with that $10. So, I called back many times, asked for a supervisor. You know how you go through this jerk-around game with them.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I got a lady who was supposedly nice, and she says, that is terrible. Then the call got disconnected. Called back another 2 or 3 more times. Finally, by the 15th time, I got another lady. He says, oh, she says, I'll tell you what, she says, we're going to go ahead and refund you. Oh. I said, but I need another product. Well, we can't do that. I said, what do you mean you can't do it? She says, well, we can't replace it. You're going to have to reorder it. Now the price goes up on that item. She said, well, there's nothing we can do about that. It went up about $30. So I said to her, for this aggravation, I think I should get like $200 or $300. She says, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Morley. She says, we can't help you. And listen what she said. We can't help you with that one. I don't know about you, Marcus, but that sends me to the moon. And I don't mean in a good way. Yeah. Oh, we can't help you with that one. That one, this one. Learn how to speak freaking English. I'm sorry. And she's able, after more holding, but she can't do this, so I'm bartering with her. $300, $200,
right,
$100. Can only get her down to $50. But hey, I'll take whatever you can give me, right? She gives me the $50. I try to replace the. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You can't use that one. What do you mean I can't use it? Well, you can't use it unless it's sold and shipped by Amazon. That's not sold and shipped by Amazon. But you could use it on another product someday that we sell and ship.
Oh, wow.
I was pissed. So I placed the other order. It came in. Now they go and put a restriction on my account for the office. We can't leave anything without a signature. I'm like, why the heck weren't you doing that from day one?
Exactly.
Oh, we're so sorry on that. And again, we're so sorry on which one that you have that one. I'm sorry on your experience. It's just unbelievable. But getting to the point why I want to talk about this. So I think we've all had our Amazon, how can I say, fill or our frustration, right? You probably had it too.
Yeah, Amazon moments. I can count on, like, two hands and plus some feet.
And give us a story, give us a story, Marcus. It's a G story. What happened to you at Amazon? A short story. What happened to you?
Well, short story. They leave. Well, I can just tell you what they do to me. I'll live in an apartment loft, and I tell them all the time, hey, do not leave the packages, and I put it in the instructions. Do not leave the package if I don't answer the doorbell.
See, I think you have to put the word. See, when you say "do not," just like with a kid, you say "do not." You probably have to say "leave the packages," because they do whatever you tell them not. They do the opposite of what you tell them.
Yeah, they do.
So they told me that they're going to only do. Because I hate their delivery system, and I tell them this. I said, I don't know who you hire. With all due respect to you, okay, but these people, I don't know where they went for brains. Like, they can't deliver more than a residential, and your thing even becomes more complicated. Some residential, they mess up the package. I always tell people, if it gets more than 2 digits, like your street's like 22, 25, and a street name, that's like about all they can handle. When you get into a loft like yours, and there's other complexities, like, you got a street address, and now you got a floor, and you got a loft, and you got this, that just is too much for them to handle. So I'm a building, a park, a building, a suite, a floor, a suite. That's way too much.
That's above their head.
They were delivering to my old building for 6 months because they still saw the name out because the sign company never took the sign down. Well, we saw your name. Yeah, but we're not there.
Obviously.
Yeah, so, but why did I bring this up? So, Jeff Bezos, okay? First of all, in case you're wondering, he's no longer the richest person in the world, okay? He dropped out of first place on the Forbes list, and the Amazon Jeff Bezos said, and I quote, he predicts that Amazon will go bankrupt, and this was published by David Moon. So why is he actually saying that? Why is Amazon going to go bankrupt? Well, I think he's pulling a lot of stuff out of the company. He's putting lots of billions of dollars into the company. I will agree with you on that. And people say, well, who said that Amazon's going to go bankrupt? The founder and CEO, Jeff Bezos. Now, isn't it odd that a founder would say their company's going to go bankrupt? So a lot of big businesses are saying that it's impossible for small companies to compete against these big, gigantic monsters, if you will, like Walmart and Amazon. But are they really correct, Marcus, or are we just being placated? Because, a lot of times there was a good person, Henry Ford, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, that if you think you can't do something, you're right. And he also said, if you think you can, you're also right.
Yeah.
So are we just being tricked by advertising to believe we're not capable of beating them? I think so.
Yeah. That's
So
exactly what it is.
this is why when they hire people, they don't hire people, with all due respect, that have a level that is on a level that can do things. Like, they don't really want to become an owner of a business. They have a profile. I even talked to the people one time, I think it was Target or Walmart. We were at a seminar, and at one of these, job fairs or something. We were there, and the lady had this personality survey. And I was just saying, she said, you want a job? I said, no. I said, but I'm just curious. I said, would I pass? She says, no, you wouldn't. I said, I'm intelligent. I'm only an engineer. She says, you could take it. She says, but you won't pass. She says, our tests are designed, I think it was Target, our tests are designed to weed people out like you. What do you mean? She says, well, you're too motivated, you're too self-empowered, and you want to set the bar and you want to do things your way. You're not going to just be a follower. I said, yeah, I'm a serial entrepreneur. She said, yeah, we don't want people like you. Well, we want people that are going to show up. Again, not that I'm not nice. We want people that are going to show up and not question how we do things or make recommendations that maybe Marcus could make their life better. They don't want it better.
No, they don't want that.
They just want to stay where they are, and that's it. And sometimes capitalism produces bad results, unfortunately. And, we get monopolies. Like, look what happened with Exxon and Mobil, right?
Right.
Right? And look what happened. They split them up, but they're kind of almost back together again. Right?
Exactly.
So happened with the phone companies, AT&T, Bell Labs. And what's happening again? They're slowly starting to merge back now into this magical unified communications. And now that makes it okay to come back. I mean, I don't know. It's so crazy. But the reason why Amazon is going to implode, I'm not going to give all the answers tonight, but the main reason is there's something that Amazon can't do, okay? And because they can't do it and they rely on another company to do it, they're never going to be able to be the leaders. If you use another person's product or service, okay, and you can't produce that product 100% your own, you've got to have some way to beat what you're buying, right? So I think that's the big moral there, and I think that shocks a lot of people when you say, oh, they're going to go bankrupt. But that's the truth, is that, when you have a company like that and they try to gouge people at large prices because they're Amazon or because I'm getting 2-day Prime, and I have Prime, and I don't know why I keep it, but I find that I don't really get much for Prime. I get my products in 2 days, but why the heck do I have to pay for that? I'm already paying $100 a year. And it's funny how they just raise the price on it every year.
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, you don't have to take, oh, we're going to give you it's like the cable company. Well, we're going to give you, oh, no, don't worry about it. We're going to give you a 30-day free trial. Oh, yeah, we're going to give you a 30-day trial on HBO, blah, 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 fortune. Like, oh, that's great. You don't have to pay for 30 days. Oh, okay. And then it'll just, and they say it real quick at the end, or they're like, it'll be free for 30 days, and then they don't explain the whole thing, and then after that, you find yourself with another $150 bill because the service is like $29 each channel or something.
Right.
And they neglect to do that because they get paid as long as you keep the service for 31 days, because that's the next billing cycle. So, Elon Musk, right?
Yeah.
So he actually, I got to laugh on this one. He actually made a call that he said he's breaking up. He wants Amazon to break up. And do you know why he wants the breakup of Amazon?
Yeah, why is that?
Because Elon Musk, just like a lot of serial entrepreneurs like myself, they write books. And after the COVID-19 skeptic claims, they censored his book.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's just, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, you really can't. So on one Thursday, he tweeted that he thinks it's time to break up Amazon. Not him breaking up. He wants to break up Amazon because he's pissed. So he goes to him, "This is insane," and he tweets at Jeff Bezos. Musk said, he tagged the Amazon CEO, exactly this message: "Time to break up Amazon. Monopolies are wrong."
Yeah.
His tweet was directed at a former New York Times reporter, Alex Berenson. And the CEO, Jeff Bezos, after Berenson published a screenshot showing that his upcoming book, after the COVID-19, doesn't meet, listen to this, Amazon guidelines for sale. I don't know how many times I've done professional audio and video, and you've done that too. And how many times you try to go to these places, they don't want to accept my audio because it doesn't meet their standards.
Yeah,
it doesn't meet their standards
they do it
because
all the time.
because they want some crap that they're going to do some pre-processing with it, and it's got to have so much overhead room.
Yeah, I'm going through that right now with like trying to get video production back on Amazon Prime. So like they've been sending me back and forth talking about captions, and now the artwork is not correct.
It's all BS. It's BS. They don't know themselves how to produce audio, but it's like I said to you, when they're the big kids and they have the money, they create these unfair rules. It's my pool, and if you want to play, it's my party, and you'll play if I want you to.
Yeah.
And the way I want you to. It's like a little kid's game. So, Tesla, as we know, Elon Musk has invested in the Tesla and the SpaceX, which we all followed not too long ago, which was an amazing splashdown. But after this happened, Alex Berenson tweeted a screenshot showing that the upcoming book doesn't meet Amazon guidelines for sale. So Berenson has been a critic of the coronavirus lockdown, as many of you may or may not know, for a long, long time. So he tweeted this. He said, "This is insane," at Jeff Bezos. And then he tweets again, a second tweet: "Time to break up Amazon. Monopolies are wrong." Again, this was a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
So Amazon said, and I quote, later, this is what happened: "The book was removed in error, and it is being reinstated," and they contacted Berenson. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know why they did that? Musk has power.
That's why. Exactly.
That's why they did it. I don't know if they didn't really say he accepted the apology. I don't think he's pursuing them right now, but I think it's like a thorn in his side. And if it happens again, I think they're done. Because Elon could wipe them out. Elon Musk, he has the power to wipe anybody out.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can get people for you or against you in a heartbeat. I mean, when we heard what Amazon was doing, and this is another wrong thing, Amazon is actually getting people to wear these shock bracelets. I'm not sure if it's still happening. And if you go too far off your path, you get a little shock. I think that is just insane.
Yeah, that's next level.
That's
control,
that's inhumane, is what that is. Inhumane.
Yeah, it's really showing. It's really coming from the top, and it's showing. Showing you. What people at the top kind of think of, like of the people that like purchase their services.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and it's funny. You could have these people in the world that, let's say, don't follow you, and all of a sudden you start getting all these followers, and even if they didn't like you in the beginning, they suddenly want to become your friend and follow you because you have so many followers. Right. They may or may not like your content, but just because you have that attraction, you're now suddenly worth their time. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
And I think, I love these people on LinkedIn. You ever get this, and they send you these automated responses saying, I want to connect with you. And it's not a short message. It's like this whole dissertation. It looks like it came out of a sales journal. And they say, I love your profile. Or I get the person say, oh, they love my profile. So I always go back to them. If it's a long one, I just send them a message back saying, thank you so much for sending an automated message to me. It's clear you didn't even take time to read my profile. And if this is how you treat people and you don't believe in relationships, I don't feel there's a benefit to connect. When that happens, I think people are so on this go that they just got to just blitz people. So I feel that, you got to try to get people to connect. And I had another gentleman, I made a genuine connection with him, and he says, "Oh, I'm not interested. Your profile doesn't have anything in common with me." So I politely wrote back to him. I said, "Dear doctor, I'm sorry you feel that way. You perhaps didn't read my whole profile. You'd even look at the heading. If you did, you'd see there's at least 4 things we have in common. If you can't figure that out on your own, I'm certainly not going to spend the time and share it with you. I wish you all the best."
Yeah.
Then he wrote back to me. He says, "You have over 5. I say I have over 1,000 connections." Really? I said, "Yeah, but I'm not interested in talking with you." You see how that works? It's
Yes.
like it's just so superficial. I don't know. It's so superficial. But I think the last thing I want to point on right now is what's going to go on with these new COVID technologies. I think these safe technologies where they have these cameras they're putting in banks where they're like $7,000 to $15,000, and in some restaurants you walk in, they literally scan you when you walk in, and they send an alarm off if you're over temperature.
Wow. Yeah. So the world's changing constantly, and the use of these technologies, it's going to be the new norm, and we can expect more of this because like this is not going away no time soon,
No,
and
no, it is not.
and it's really important that we expect more of these technologies.
Exactly. And whether we're talking about schools or we're talking about factories or, we're talking about just everyday life, I think people just need to understand that, this isn't going away anytime soon. And our life is going to continue to go on, but we have to just be mindful of what we do. And, I don't say we have to be watching every breath we take, because some people are taking this a little too far. And I don't say we have to wash our hands 10 times every minute. So, there's always extremes. If you haven't gone anywhere and you haven't touched anything outside your home, how many times you want to wash your hands? So I think there's the extreme side, right? And then there's the people like some of the kids that, "Oh, I'm going to go to a party. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do whatever I want." So how do you balance that that scale, Marcus?
Yeah, I think there's that it's really hard. It's like I think the main thing I think about is like when they first wrote the Constitution. I don't think they really considered the many variables that was going to come along with it. But they knew that the main thing was they wanted people to have freedom. And I think people is really kind of fighting teeth and nail for freedom, and they want to continue to exercise that. But at some point we have to say like, hey, we want to ensure that you're safe. We want to ensure that that other people are free to be safe. So if we continue to spread that message and make that message louder, I think that we can preserve what the forefathers had in mind when they wrote the Constitution.
I agree, and I don't think that this is the time where we have to stop being charitable or we have to stop doing things.
No, not at all.
But, I think we still have to be careful what we do.
Yes.
But, if you're outside and you're shooting videos or something and people are 10, 15 feet apart and you don't need to wear a mask there. But I think, there's still that understanding that if you're going to work that close, you need to wear a mask and you need to be, considerate of people. I think that's the biggest thing I want to leave with our listeners tonight is just being respectful and considerate. If people would just be, I don't know, even just an ounce more considerate, the world would be such a better place.
Those are heartfelt words, John, and and I'm sure the audience out there really appreciate that, and you really definitely put a lot into the show and all that you do. You got some great people out here who's really appreciating your content here tonight. So John, do us a favor. Tell us again where we can find you. I know we got the ticker running along, but we got the radio listeners who's listening in who can't see the ticker that would like to know how to get in touch with you and maybe get that text alert.
Sure. So first thing is whether you're a technology buff or a novice or a pro and just want to learn a little more about technology to keep yourself safe or to stay closer to COVID technologies, or like I say, we talk about everything that's in your hand, can be put in your pocket, that can be put on a wall, that you can install, that someone can come in and set up for you. And, we give you those insights. We even expose fraudsters. And I think that's what's really important. And if you'd like to get that type of information, well, you could just pick up your smartphone, really easy, just like this, and you can just text the words IT, that's ITSUPPORT, to 888-111. That's ITSUPPORT to 888-111. And you'll get occasional texts from us on technology, about new shows, different things we're doing. And the other thing I just want to leave you with, if you did miss any of the shows and you want to catch up with them because, I don't know, maybe your battery on your laptop went, or maybe your microwave was calling you, or maybe somebody was calling you for dinner and you had to shut off the screen, or you might be in the doghouse for the rest of the weekend, and we wouldn't want that. You can always drop by our website. It's open 24 hours a day. You just put in your browser JMOR.com. Under social, you can explore down to JMOR shows, and you'll see we have 3 types of shows. We have the JMOR Tech Talk show, we have the JMOR unboxing show, and the JMOR reviews show. The unboxing show is where we take technology every few weeks, we unbox it, and the review show is where we give you opinions about how it actually worked. Again, to get on our unboxing show, it's very simple. You can reach out to us at jmor.com. You can message us here. Click on the form for donate a product for an unboxing. And yes, you do need to donate the product, but there is no cost to you to be on the show to have that product reviewed. You can't pay us to tell us what you want us to say, but we will give it a thorough review. And of course, we want your suggestions. So if there is an idea, a thought, a comment, or something you'd like to have take place, or a guest you'd like to see on our show, please reach out to us and let us know, because this show I'm putting together for you. I want you to feel comfortable with technology. Like I say, we make IT easy so you don't have to. I'm John Morley from the JMOR Connection and the JMOR Tech Talk Show.
Thank you, everyone.
Where we answer your questions about how technology is supposed to work, and sometimes why you have challenges getting it to work that way. For more IT support and tips, just text IT support to 888-111. That's IT support to 888-111, and you'll get tips on technology. I'll see you next week right here on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Remember, JMOR.com.